She leaned back on the couch, laughing in that way that made me feel invisible. "Our marriage is trash," she said, a smirk tugging at her lips. "I should replace it." I paused, a quiet calm settling over me. Most men might have reacted, shouted, argued, stormed out, but not me. I smiled instead. "About time we agreed on something," I said softly. Her laughter faltered. Confusion flickered across her face. That was the first sign she no longer really knew me, not the woman I had fallen for 3 years ago. "My name is Ethan, and I've always believed I understood people. I've been patient, calm, and reasonable. I value fairness, dialogue, compromise. And yet, here I was, staring at the woman who had once promised to stand by me, now mocking the foundation we had built together. Claire and I met at a friend's small gathering back in 2017. She was vibrant, witty, the kind of energy that filled a room. I was quieter, grounded, analytical, the yin to her yang. Early on, we complemented each other perfectly. We traveled, laughed until our sides ached, and dreamed of a shared future. It felt safe. It felt like home. But slowly, things changed. Subtly at first. Touches grew brief, kisses less frequent, conversations transactional. I gave her space, thinking it might be stress from work or life. I brought flowers, cooked dinners, tried to rekindle a connection. Nothing worked. By our 3rd year together, intimacy had become a memory. Hugs were fleeting, almost dismissive. Talking about our future felt like negotiating a contract rather than sharing excitement. Then came the sharper signs. Snide remarks. Eye rolls. Her gaze constantly drifting to her phone whenever I spoke. Something had shifted. My trust, once absolute, was fragile. She was no longer the partner I had entrusted with my heart. Something was happening behind the walls of our marriage that she wasn't telling me. It all came to a head that Friday evening when she made her joke, the one about replacing our marriage. That careless, biting laugh was a mirror reflecting a reality I had been too polite to face. I didn't react. I simply watched, letting the weight of her words sink in, letting her reveal herself without interference. In my line of work, I manage a boutique real estate firm. I study people, reading their patterns, their tells. When someone shows their hand, you observe. You don't attack. You understand. And that's when I began noticing the cracks that would change everything. Over the next few days, Claire's behavior confirmed my suspicions. She laughed at things I didn't find funny, lingered on her phone in secretive ways, spent more time out with friends than ever. I tried to engage her, spark conversation, but every effort was met with indifference or a dismissive answer. It wasn't just emotional neglect anymore. It was deliberate. She was building distance. I noticed the little things. Hidden texts, silent calls, outfits chosen for outings that weren't about work. It wasn't paranoia. It was observation. In my profession, reading people isn't just about what they say. It's what they hide in plain sight. And Claire was hiding a lot. One evening, she came home later than usual, carrying an air of casual triumph, like she had survived some small, secret victory. She collapsed on the couch and immediately scrolled through her phone. I didn't confront her. I observed. That night, I went to bed pretending to sleep, listening to the faint sound of messages, quiet laughter, the occasional muffled voice. Enough to know everything I needed. I didn't react. No yelling. No accusations. I wanted her to underestimate me, to continue revealing herself. The days passed. She slipped further into her own world, thinking I was still the husband who would forgive and forget without consequence. But patience was my tool, silence my weapon. Soon, she would see how wrong she had been. Then came the day she tried to include me in her plans again. "Ethan, do you want to come to dinner with my friends?" she asked, deceptively casual. I smiled faintly. "Not tonight," I said. That subtle refusal unsettled her. She had expected automatic compliance. Now, control was slipping through her fingers. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't just betrayal. It was about respect, boundaries, making it clear that dismissiveness and mockery would no longer be tolerated. Claire had been testing limits for months. Without a single word of confrontation, I was about to reset the balance. The following weekend, she planned a girls' night out, insisting I stay home. Normally, I might have brushed it off, pretended indifference, but this time was different. I let her leave, allowing her to feel the absence she had cultivated for months. The house was quiet. For the first time in a long while, I felt in control, not angry, not bitter, but alert, aware. Later, while she was out, I made a few calls, quietly confirming what I had suspected for weeks. Every detail aligned. She wasn't just ignoring me. She was weaving a secret life. Small lies carefully constructed to seem harmless but quietly corrosive. When she returned, laughing, smelling a perfume that wasn't mine, I greeted her calmly, armed only with the knowledge I had gathered. She expected tension, anger, confrontation. Instead, I offered only a faint smile. "What's wrong?" she asked, scanning my face with familiar worry, the frantic concern I used to display. "Nothing," I said simply, and in that simplicity, she felt discomfort for the first time in months. She realized subtly, unmistakably, that the balance had shifted. I was no longer the man who would endure mockery or dismissal. I was patient, but fully aware, fully empowered. In the days that followed, her attitude changed. Sharp jokes, condescending remarks, casual dismissals, all faded, replaced by a newfound unease. It wasn't punishment. It was boundaries. A reminder that laughter at someone else's expense is never harmless. The joke about our marriage being trash no longer landed. It had lost its power because the husband she underestimated had finally stopped giving away for free. By month's end, Claire had a choice. Respect a man who had been patient, observant, silent, or continue her path of dismissal and risk losing him completely. I never raised my voice. I never begged for attention or demanded respect. I quietly, firmly reclaimed it, showing her that some lessons are only learned when truly felt. Sitting in the living room one evening, sipping coffee as Claire sat quietly across from me, I realized how much power lies in silence and observation. You don't need confrontation to change behavior. You need strategy, patience, and the courage to stop being the person everyone expects you to be. And that was a lesson she finally learned, and one I'll never forget.